Ark Lost Colony launches with way more than expected. Winter Wonderland employs modders, and Ark 2 dated with a possible vast change of its main character. Goodbye, Vin Diesel. You're right, kids, it's Raasclark, and welcome to your regular Ark community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. Because Lost Colony has officially launched, and not without the regular launch problems, it was delayed again and again and again. I think it was almost 7 or 8 hours after that second delay that we finally got it, due to some issues with PlayStation certification, with the devs initially announcing to await PlayStation's arrival a couple of hours after Steam and Xbox, and then that didn't turn out to be the case. In fact, all of that commotion, all of the complaints, PlayStation actually got it first, just a few minutes prior to Xbox, but still, that was all for nothing, and it finally arrived to us with, to be honest, quite an overwhelming expansion map this time around. There's still a lot out there to cover. It is day one, you know, so brand new stuff makes brand new adventures, brand new understandings of different mechanics, and there's a lot of new features being brought with this. We're still wrapping our head around as we speak. But what was a real surprise with this patch, which was to be expected around 100 gig, though I feel like it's been quite a lot less for most people across the board, although it came in 2 waves on Steam, is new character customization options. It seems that Wildcard have been taking the feedback that we definitely need some more advancements on this, and they've completely rechanged how you can look your face at the very least. There doesn't seem to be any more changes you can do to your body, but your facial features, you can really do some crazy wacky things like looking as old as dust or have some giant lowered ears. Wildcard explained this is phase 1 of the updated character creation PCC, with brand new hairstyles to follow early in the next year, alongside an extended HUD that displays a no build zone radius preview when placing an item, a block for any characters typing in global if they're below level 1, I guess a way to try and navigate those dirty spammy bots. Love to hear that, that's great to see. And Veilwinds and Ottodons now removed from the maps we've had them on previously to be exclusively on Lost Colony. There's a lot to check out on a very refreshing map that's very lore heavy, narrative heavy, with creatures, systems and gameplay we're still frankly wrapping our head around, though it wasn't with some usual issues. Overlooking the almost 11-hour delay that Windows got when finally receiving their version of Lost Colony, there seemed to be some pretty severe memory issues if you were playing on servers. Nitrado put out an announcement of themselves, reducing the server memory to help maintain stability. However, that being said, by the time this video goes out, there should have been a patch already dropped that hopefully fixes this memory leak issue, as well as a pretty serious crash they're seeing across servers. Obviously, after an initial delay, with the reason being a pretty serious game-breaking issue, it's always a shame to see anything else game-breaking happening at launch, and frankly why I personally decided to play on single player initially, to ensure to avoid any server issues that we might have seen at launch, and we certainly saw them. But this very wintry themed map that we're still exploring and still understanding is about to get a little bit more wintry, because at the time of writing, official servers have just received the Winter Wonderland event. It's a surprise they somehow managed to throw this out a day after Lost Colony, but here it is. With the return of Raptor once again dropping gift boxes from the skies, that nice and naughty system will return once again for possibly some very rare, unique creatures that you might want to take advantage of during this event. I know I will be. With Jerboa sleighs to fend off against once again big giant Yetis, Santa big helper Yetis to run into and conquer if you can. Abominable snowmans are out there, as well as Pego Mastax Grouches, and wild rideable reindeers are out there too, to feed carrots to and float around, fly around at whim. Not forgetting Gacha Claws as well. There's a lot of different ways to celebrate this event, with a pretty giant new addition that's a very first for any sort of event we've ever seen. A whole brand new structure tier that uniquely was created by members out there in the community. A gingerbread set that offers much more than just a cosmetic look to the usual wall and floor pieces that you've come to expect. But seats, festive decorations, candy cane lamps, storage boxes, rugs, cocoa beer barrels and tribe towers are included with this too, as well as a brand new Christmas tree ghillie suit set skin. And it's wicked to read this was actually made by a few people out there in the community that I'm sure you will have known by now. In fact, I definitely know you would have known by now. Sandy, of course, has done a plethora of skins for ARK over the last year. In fact, donated quite a heavy amounts towards the charity donation goal. Obviously, Aaron Longstaff, who we've done collabs with in the past, and most recently the Extra Life event, as well as Crazy, who's done a lot of work behind the scenes with Aaron on a lot of his skins as well. And to be fair, Aaron and Sandy and Crazy combined are top of their game when it comes to custom cosmetics. So it's not a surprise, but it is a surprise. I'm so happy for them. I'm so really proud of them to have this opportunity to bring this to an official event for you to take full advantage of if you want to get your own full-blown gingerbread houses. As well as that, there's a bunch of event chibis to unlock, event emotes with some brand new mistletoe and holiday kiss emotes, a wealth of different Christmas themed skins for you to check out, as well as all the dino colours you could want, as well, of course, as those 2x rates up until January the 5th, so you've got plenty of time to take advantage of this after you've been less overwhelmed on the introduction of this map, just like me. But if you're not too overwhelmed and you've got a bit of an artistic eye, there's a big competition running in the Discord where apparently you're going to get to take control of the Discord. I don't know how this one's going to go, but opening now and running until Monday, Jan the 19th. Submitting artwork related to one of the 3 factions of this main new storyline of this map. We'll see all receive keys for Lost Colony, as well as the victor to receive a champion of the Lost Colony role within the Discord, a server banner to run for an entire week, as well as a total Discord server takeover, allowing them to conquer the Discord for a full week. I've got no idea what that means, but maybe it could be alluded to this role, which I've got my suspicions on who it might be. Looking at you, won't say your name. That's offering a little bit of a fourth wall break, and RIP to that level 5 Bob who was sleeping in the snow. And well, speaking of Bob, it turns out he might have more of a prominent role in the future of ARK than we first realised. See, unless you were living under a rock, you will have known Vin Diesel was the starring role of ARK 2 in all of these ARK 2 trailers up until now, even having some creative convergence director role within the team, and things have frankly been incredibly quiet over the last couple of years. But it turns out in an exclusive interview with Epic Games, co-founder Jeremy Stieglitz went on to explain an actual date, gave us a date for ARK 2 now 2028. I've got to wonder though, is that really going to be the actual date? I guess we'll see, man, but that word has now been said. Is that the year we're actually going to be seeing ARK 2, with of course now, as we know, at the tail end of 27 to get some introductory storyline to Vin Diesel's character Santiago. But maybe that's all we're going to get, as within the same interview Jeremy goes on to explain that Vin Diesel's involvement with this is kind of ambiguous, with Jeremy explaining how much performance are we going to get from him. Are we going to get 1, 5 days or 8 hours, with plans for ARK 2 based on if they get a lot of Vin Diesel or a little of Vin Diesel. And as the latter, as the interviewer suggested, could this be related to this new shot of Cole Urban playing as Bob to possibly fill in for those gaps where we're not seeing Vin Diesel instead? Jeremy says, I think you figured out the strategy. Jeremy did go on to explain this legacy of Santiago map DLC, whatever it may be, is seemingly going to actually be on the planet of Arat, and actually involving mechanics they're planning for ARK 2, including new fighting and combat mechanics, allowing them, I guess, to drip feed some of these vast changes that when we initially got with that announcement of ARK 2 isn't quite foreboding. With Jeremy explaining in that interview a lot of lessons were certainly learned following ARK Survival Ascended's release, and to learn sometimes it's not time to leave until players really want you to. And with that, just discussing one of this giant new library of content coming over the next 2 years, it's a wonder what public-facing version of this roadmap we may see at the end of the year, obviously discussing those other maps like Crystal Isles, Lost Island and Fjorda, not forgetting of course of an Astraios giant update hopefully happening early in the year too. There's a lot of stuff on the cards going on right now in the world of ARK. Can't wait to check it all out and look forward to understanding more about Lost Colony. What's going on? Are you enjoying it? I really love to know. It seems to be a bit of a weird response at the moment. I kind of feel like, at least in the introductory look of Lost Colony, it's a very gorgeous looking map indeed, but I think in the PvP side of things, I'm definitely hearing a few complaints there. I think PvE players especially, though, have got a lot of content to play with this one, but it's early days, still figuring out what's going on with this one, and yeah, looking forward to dropping more videos about it, so stay tuned for them. Until then, my name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.